You play ball like a girl!
Right. We'll talk about that. I had no idea about all the bullying that you went through, but I think if you're willing to share, like, what is your best advice for girls that are going through that? Because I'm sure there's some listeners out there who go through that. You know, kids can be mean at times, but what is your best advice for that? Because it is hard. Like, I know, like,
it's hard.
I know from time to time I was bullied when I was younger, and I think a lot of kids are, but maybe not to the extent that you were, but there's kids out there. So what's your best advice for them?
Yeah, first of all, you're not alone, and don't pretend that you are. I was so scared of my bullies. I would throw up every day at school. As soon as I got to school, I threw up because I had so much anxiety around being at school. And I didn't tell my parents what was going on because I was ashamed. And I also was afraid that if I told them that they would then call the other parents and it would make the bullying worse. I didn't tell the teachers. I just acted like I don't have any friends, so I want to hang out with you guys for nutrition and lunch. So I hung out in my homeroom with my teacher for my meals, or I hid. And you don't need to do that. You aren't alone. It is important to be vulnerable, which is powerful. It takes courage to be vulnerable. It is not a weakness. Talk to your parents. If they do go to well, I'm calling the other parents right now, I understand the fear of that because that actually can rile them up. And at one point, my parents did go and call some of the other parents when they heard the voice messages that were literally saying they were going to kill me. And it did make that worse. So have a real conversation with your parents and with the teachers and come up with a plan of attack. And if you need to, then switch schools, you know, because if it is at a point where it's dangerous, and for me, it was at a point where it was dangerous, there were a lot of gangs that were against me. And when they were giving me death threats, those were real death threats. So it is taking care of yourself and not hiding. And also not listening to what the bullies are saying. You know, they were lying about me. They were saying things that simply weren't true. And I knew that it wasn't true. And I allowed it to push me down instead of, not fighting back, because if it's one against all of these people, depending on the situation, it really can be life-threatening. But don't let them define you. You define you. And you get into other sports. I got into music class, and so I was able to have music for a while at nutrition and lunch, and I terribly played the violin as just a way to remove myself. So do what you need to do to take care of you, because they don't matter in the end. Like, what's interesting now is the amount of my bullies who reached out to me on Facebook and like friend requested me. Like, are you kidding me? I'm not gonna be your friend.
Wow.
Ruined my junior high school life. Those were the worst years of my life. And now they want to be my friend. It's just, later on, they're gonna be looking at you and hoping that they can be like you, or at least be friends with you. So don't give them the attention that they're trying so hard to get.
Oh my gosh, that is just such great advice. I absolutely love that. And I hope anyone that's going through bullying really takes that to heart.